Greetings from Southern California. I'm Dr. Emily Letran, speaker, high performance coach, and dentist. Been practicing for more than 28 years with multiple multi specialty group practices in Southern California. It is my honor to be part of Global Summits Institute. We're hosting these partners. Our main goals are to get the doctor to doctor movement all over the world where the doctors will collaborate, work with each other, share success strategies, share failures, share stories, so we can all succeed in this modern economy. I am one of the regents in the Global Summit, also the Dean of the Doctorate of Healthcare Business Program. And we bring on to the partners the experts who can share all of these strategies to help you elevate your business and your life to the next level. This morning, I am honored to bring to you Dr. V. Ho. She is an endodontist from Texas. Dr. Ho was born in Vietnam and she grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She received her BS in biology from Texas A&M University. She graduated from Creighton University and she was in the top 2% of her class, so OKU. And then she chose to do her endodontics at the residency at the University of Texas um, School of Dentistry. And she's been practicing for the most part in Texas. She raised three beautiful children. She has a wonderful husband. I'm honored to have her as my client and my friend. And today she is coming on to help us understand how to grow our relationship, our health, and still be professionally successful. So, Dr. Ho, welcome to the partner.
Hi, thank you so much, Dr. Latran, for the wonderful introduction. And I can't tell you what an honor it is to just be here and to share and to also to learn from everyone as well.
Awesome. So, we know that you are one of our uh, nominated top 100 doctor for the class of 2022. And I know you have multiple awards. I know you speak for several companies. But tell me, in general, we all go through dental school, right? And go through four difficult years of our life. Whether they're in dental school or medical school, we go through that first step of professional school. What made you decide to actually specialize? What was it that drive you to go for another 2, 3 years?
You know, for me, during dental school, most of my classmates who went in, I guess somehow maybe they've had experience before. They knew that after dental school, they wanted to specialize right away, that they had it set. They want to be an oral surgeon, they want to be an orthodontist. For me, I didn't know that until I went through the years. And then as I got into the clinical part of it, and then I got through try out different procedures, I realized that, I think it's just I go from my heart that I feel like I needed more. The end of dental school wasn't it for me. I needed more, and I found joy in the procedure that was really difficult for me. It wasn't. I decided to specialize wasn't because I thought it was easy, but to me, it was challenging that enough. But it kept on wanting me to keep on going and digging more into it. So I think that's what brought me into specializing in the work of root canals, endodontics.
Awesome. I think it's that same mindset that has driven you to look into being a speaker, right? And you're already an author. You just co-author in our upcoming book, Doctor to Doctor: Success Strategies to Elevate Your Business and Your Life. And so you're starting to speak on several different stages, and you speak for companies. So it shows that is that ambition, right? That drive to be more than just the dentist, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the same thing is to be more than just the mom, just the wife. I know you have a great passion in cooking. You have a great Facebook group where you show your beautiful cooking and you share some recipes. So I know you're going to go a little bit more into that, um, during your presentation. But just tell us a little bit Why cooking? Why not? I don't know. Why not yoga? Why not something else? Why is why did you choose cooking as like your little, well, not little, but your passion?
I chose cooking because first of all, it's a tool that I've used. I mean, that I started to experience when I was little, right? And whenever you share something that you think could help and work, you have to at least have some experience of your own. And for me, I've experienced my whole life um, using cooking as a tool to really build beyond more than just cooking a meal. So, that is my strength. And I feel like I have enough knowledge in it to that I want to share and help people to be better because for sure we all can agree that there's benefits coming from cooking, not just the physical food itself. So
Right,
yeah,
right. And obviously everybody can cook, right? But just it's
right.
just not and we sometimes we joke around, you're cooking with love, right? So that it's the love that you put into your food. And in your case, there's a little bit more than that because for you that is a modality that you use to actually build relationship. And I think a lot of us professionals sometimes we are so busy we don't think we have time for anything. We think that after we go to work for 8 hours and we come home, um, you know, just talk a little bit to the family and maybe order out or order in, whichever way that people do nowadays. And we don't see cooking or other activities as something that could enrich our life. We look at it as a chore, right? And I know that,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I know you don't. I know you absolutely don't do that. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is invite you to take the stage. And I know you have a PowerPoint. I know you're going to share some of your personal story, and and then you're going to go into how to build that healthy relationship that is so crucial for all professionals. It doesn't matter if you're a dentist, you're a doctor, anybody who are in the healthcare business where we spend all day serving other people, and we need to find ways to serve ourselves and our family and our community. So the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Latria. Thank you so much. I agree with you. As myself and as all other successful entrepreneurs or professionals, we are so great and always active and looking at expanding ourselves, our career, and going above beyond ourselves. But for me, I have tried that out because I did have that earning to, go further, go beyond me, become a speaker. But I always find myself going back to the basics and how just going back to the basics and live in it, and that's where for me I can have contentment. So from there I want to introducing you guys my tool. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So today my topic is healthy food, healthy life, healthy relationship. And I realized that that has always been my main goal and how I have been my whole life. So that's why I chose that title. Sorry, give me a second here. Okay. So first, as Dr. The trans introduced me, I am a root canal specialist and endodontist. I am a little bit unique that I am a biological endodontist. What that means is I like to, just incongruent with how I live my life, always trying to be the healthiest, the best as I can be. Of course, we can't achieve perfection, which I accept it and I know that, but I always try to be better and be healthier. And so I carry that same mindset when I treat my patient as well. That's why I decided to become a biological endodontist. Um, how am I different is I use healthier solution to treat my patient, such as using the laser therapy. I also use platelet-rich fibrin, which is PRF, to treat my patient. Those, I'm sure many of you are familiar that the wonderful ability of those tools to help cure a lot of infections and diseases and things like that. So that's that. And I am a member of the American Association of Biological Dentistry and Medicine. And I'm very happy with that. So I want to share one of my favorite quote. Really, my favorite life quote is from Ralph Emerson. Is the purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make a difference that you have lived and lived well. And I love this quote so much because I feel like this really guided me to a meaningful life. And I want every day, I want to set intention. How can I really make this happen? Live a meaningful life. And that's really important for me because, you see the first sentence, it says, the purpose of life is not to be happy. And you thought, well, what does that mean? That's really the purpose of life is to be happy, right? What do you mean, to not be happy? Because happiness can be very fleeting because it can just, for example, it doesn't last, right? You're happy about going to a football game. You're happy about something, but then when you go home, you're not happy anymore.
Dr.
So,
Ho, Dr. Ho, your presentation, your slide right now is not full screen. Can you make it full screen?
oh, wow, it's full screen on my screen. What's going on? I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on.
We can see your first slide, but we also see the side. So it's not the slide itself is not full screen.
Let me see if it's really full screen on my screen. Can you see full screen right now?
You still on the first slide, correct?
Right.
Yeah,
I'm just testing out again. Is it full screen right now?
No. Okay. Try to stop sharing and then go back to sharing again, maybe.
Okay. Let me see. Hold on. You know what? Let me try this.
Yeah. So you just stop sharing right now, right? So now go back on and share.
Yep. I shared again. Can you see full screen now?
It's not full screen because I can see the bar on the top, but I think it's better.
But can you at least see it?
I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's good now.
Okay. All right. So going back to my favorite quote, how I got started there. So to me, a meaningful life is not just to have professional success, but also success in relationship that we have at home, not just our business relationship at home with the close friends and people that we love. And also really a successful life is really the biggest part of it is you have to have good health. That's the biggest other piece to success, right? Is having a meaningful life, all of that together. And when you have all of that, you will then have happiness. So I'd like to continue on sharing. This is a picture of me when I was little, when I was still in Vietnam. It's the time where, wow, having a picture is amazing, right? It's not easy just to get a photo taken. So this is very special. I think it's like the first photo of my life that I had taken. So I was born in Vietnam and I lived in a multi-generational family where there's aunts, uncles, and we all lived together. And there's just really what you see here is the space that we all lived in. So this picture was taken on our New Year, where that's really, really special time of the year where the only chance for you to get a new pair of clothes. And you are responsible to keep it intact and wear for the whole entire year. It's not like, if you want to go here, you want to go on a weekend to get something to the mall, it's very easy. So when things are limited like that, you tend to appreciate a whole lot more. So in 1992, we adopted an American brother. He's half white, half Vietnamese. And here's a picture of us at the airport in Saigon. And my grandma, she was there saying goodbye to us, and we were on our way to move to America due to the Homecoming Act that they're, bringing back the American children back to America. So as a part of the transition, we were placed in a refugee camp in the Philippines. Where we stayed was the city called Bataan, and you can see here these were the exact pictures and condition that we lived in. We each were provided a unit, and you can see on the upper left picture there where there's a water reservoir. I know these water buckets. I was 8 years old then, and I didn't know what strength did I have as an 8-year-old, where every day I was in line to get water and everyone else was an adult and I was the only kid, and I was always the first in line, and I carried enough water in those little buckets to cross the ditch and walk all the way home back to our unit to have enough water for 5 people to use, to bathe with and to cook with. And I also helped my parents with laundry and all of that. And I was like, man, I had some mighty strength for an 8-year-old, but at the time I didn't feel like it was anything. And now when I have my own children, especially my mom, she's like, my kids are too young, or they need help. I said, Mom, you never felt that way with me. Like, like you let me do everything. You thought I could do everything. So kids now, definitely, they're really spoiled with grandparents. And really, this is the first time in my life as a kid, made me feel really good about myself. And that's when I really started to get the feeling and the power, the gratitude of contribution, like how great it felt to contribute and make yourself useful. So that was the start of it. So after 6 months, we moved to Alexandria, Louisiana. And I put a picture of the red apples because that was my American dream, because we came from a very poor region of Vietnam. So especially with the climate in Vietnam, you really can't grow apples. So for me, when in my mind, we were moving to America, I said, as soon as we landed, I remember this like vividly. I was on the plane, it was about to land, and I said, as soon as I land, I like to walk into a home that I can see, that I want to see when I open the refrigerator, would be a refrigerator full of red apples. That was my American dream. But my dream didn't come true, because Alexandria, Louisiana was also a very tough part of the country as well. So my parents, we moved to another city in Louisiana, and we moved to Baton Rouge, the capital of Louisiana. And my parents had to work minimum wage job because they didn't have any professional degrees. So minimum wages were what's available to them. And in order to make ends meet, to take care of us, because then my mom had 3 kids, I was the oldest. She had they both my mom and my dad had the responsibility of not just taking care of us, but enough to take care of our extended family back in Vietnam, my grandparents, and their siblings. So each of my parents worked 2 jobs, morning and night, so 16 hours at least. So that left me, my dad, also he worked in the crawfish field, and he was also a mechanic. So they both were gone a lot. And then my mom, so it was my sister and I, we came to America with my parents. And then a few years later, my mom had my brother, my little brother. So they were gone a lot because of work. So I had the responsibility to care for them. So I didn't just cook, I didn't just clean. I had to take care of them as well. I was their nanny as well. You know, I was in charge of doing laundry on the weekend, walking them to school, pick them up, and do homework with them. I was literally their mom. Um, Give me 1 second, please. Sorry, give me 1 second. My laptop is running low, but it's charged. So I'm sure. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry about that. We're all good now. So at 9 years of age, I started cooking. I learned how to cook. And, at the time, it was, of course, we didn't have the means to go on vacations or do activities for us children, but I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. For me, the joy of the day was waiting for my parents to come home at night and we share a happy meal together. And to me, that was my fun. And I looked forward to that every day. And it made me feel good every day at the dinner table where uh, I feel like, as a kid, I knew the situation that we were in. Um, and of course, I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything to help, but I could at least cook for them. And I felt like, you know, I can cook for my parents. I can keep them healthy and keep them happy when we come home with good food on the table. It made me feel so good. It made me feel that I was very worthy. I contribute to my parents, and taking care of them. That's how I love them, because I want them to be healthy. So that's when I started to realize the power of cooking. And I really enjoyed it from then. So in 2006 that's 1 year after dental school. As you can see here, I've since I was 14 years old, I started working, and I never stopped working. And in 2006, 1 year after dental school, I saved enough money. I took my brother and sister for the first time to on a trip even, and I took them to Disney World because I knew that every kid wanted to go to Disney World, right? So even in dental school, I had the money from working after 5 o'clock. After dental school, every day I go to work, and I even worked on the weekend because I knew that my parents couldn't provide this for them, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to provide this for them, give them some kind of memories, to contribute something to them, because I love them more than just siblings. They are, because we're so far apart in age. I'm 6 years older than the middle one, and I'm 12 years older than the youngest one. So they are more like my children. So I was very happy and able to provide for them and do things for them that my parents couldn't do, even though they wanted to do. So that's our picture when we were in Disney World. And so during dental school years as well, um, I used cooking as a tool to attract friends, because to me, we can all be different, right? We're different. We were all different. But I find that the one thing that most of us have in common is we love good food. We may not like to cook, but we do enjoy good food. And good food bring people together, start a conversation, right? So that's how I was able to get friends to dental school. And I graduated from dental school in Omaha, Nebraska. And so I moved back to practice after dental school, I moved back to Texas to go ahead, and I did another 3 years of specialty training in root canal. And at the same time, after 3 years, I also had a master's degree in the science of dentistry. So in Houston, Texas, I met my husband and we moved to Cyprus. We had 3 beautiful children together, and I decided to open a practice of my own. I became a business owner. So this is me in my practice, doing root canal, using a microscope as macroscopic surgery, and using the laser to do so. So, I had a practice. I have 3 kids. I homeschool them. I got really, really, really busy. And as I got busy, I started to think back again, what is it because we all love our children, of course, that's why we have them. At the beginning, I was all about how much I can put in their saving account, how much can I put into their car tuition, how can I fill that up for them, make sure they're set. But I feel like, after a couple of years or so worrying about that and contributing to that, I realized that that's not really the most important thing that I need to worry about filling up for my children. What's more important that would for them is how I fill them up as a person, healthy mind, healthy body, and learn how to have healthy relationship. Because if I can fill that up for them, if I can invest into that for them and have a successful investment in that regard for them, they will be successful, and I don't have to worry, because they don't really need my money. This is what they really need. So that's the reason why I decided to homeschool, because I want to give them the opportunity to soak into them these blank sheets of paper, right? You want to soak them and influence them into the best possible way possible as before they start to have their own personalities. And also, I found myself really busy, and I started to kind of drift away from my goal of a meaningful life. We start having computers, and phones at our dinner table. And I said, no, we gotta get rid of this. We're so busy all day. We work, we don't even see each other. We don't see our spouses. We don't see anyone. Dinner time is the only time that we need to just put everything away and connect and enjoy and be together. And we don't have to talk about work, because we focus on the food. We focus on talking about the food and sharing the food together. And that brought me back to the memories of my childhood when we didn't have anything, but we still have a very happy life because of that dinner time together. Because nowadays when I go out, I ask myself, how often do people even sit down having a meal together? And because we're also busy, we eat at different times. And even when we have a meal together, do we actually talk to each other, or are we on our phone? We just can't put our phone down, or we talk about work, we talk about some things that we don't really have in common at the moment. So I made it a goal that needs to be a practice daily for my family, for my children. So I live fortunately, I live with my parents, and so we have, you know, for me, I feel like this is a complete family that I've always wanted for my children. I'm very happy in order to do so. And it's not easy, to get everybody to get along, especially my parents and my husband, right? So it takes a lot for me, being the middle person, to have that dancing where everybody can get along together and get happy together. And I'm very fortunate that my parents love my husband so much that I feel like there are times that they love him more than me. I feel like I'm the daughter-in-law, and he's not the in-law, and you may ask how. Is they just love food. They love each other through food. My mom shows her love to him through food, taking care of my husband through food. And when we sit down at a dinner table, it's like we're at a festival almost every day. We're just really passionate about what is going in our mouth. What is it? Look at the color, the texture, and we have a funny conversation from there, and we just enjoy our food a whole lot more, and I'm just so happy that I provide that environment for my children and my parents as well, because I love my parents, and I don't want to wait till it's too late to have the meaningful time with them, or take care of them, or care for them in a way that I felt like, that I'm content with myself, how I am as a daughter to them. So I'm very happy to have everything in place: my office, my business, my husband, my family, my parents, all together, and we spend 3 meals a day together every day. Because when I opened my practice, um, unlike most people, they look at, what's the best area, where is the high income area for my business. For me, I didn't do that, because my focus on my family and the life that I want in the long run. And even though my parents lived with me, I said, I don't want to go to work from 8 until 5, and don't come home till maybe even 6 sometimes when you're busy. And my mom, she's older, I didn't want to leave her at home by herself all day, just longing for me to come home at the end of the day, and I wanted us to share more meals together. So when I opened my practice, my guidance for what is the right location was, it has to be from 5 to 10 minutes from home, and that was it. There's no more negotiation beyond that. I was giving a lot of really good locations. The drive was like 20, 30 minutes. I didn't want that, because time is precious. You can't buy that back. So my office and both of our offices are like 3 minutes and 10 minutes from our house. So we're able to leave. The morning we eat breakfast with our children. Lunchtime we come home, we eat lunch together, and 5 o'clock come home with dinner together again. And people ask me, how do you homeschool your kids when you're busy and you work full time? Because I'm so close to home, and I make the older one teach the younger one. So when you make them really interact with each other, like, or be responsible for each other like that, they have a better relationship, when they love each other a whole lot more, and they get a lot closer. That's what I see with my children. So I go over the morning chores and homework with them. Lunch, I come home, I check it, and then dinner time, we come home, review the day. And so you really can get it done, but you have to delegate, and your children are never too young to accept responsibilities. I think back when I was 8 years old, I was able to do all that. Surely my daughter, who's 9 now, should be able to do all of that and more, right? So I feel bad for them, because I don't have sympathy for them. So, besides all of that, eating healthy, we need to worry about our physical health. We need to incorporate exercise into our daily routine, because our body is really the only thing that can help us to get more in life if we want. But if we don't, that's really our main and only vehicle. We can't replace it. So if we don't take care of it, it won't be able to serve us. We won't be able to achieve anything else in life. Finance, happiness, relationship, we won't be able to, because we can be very financially well off, but if we don't have the health or the physical body health to enjoy it, then what's for? Everything would be a waste, right? So I like to instill this into my children. So that's a real reason why I homeschool them, is I want, besides feeding them healthy food, I want to teach them a daily routine of a healthy life. You need to um, wake up. These what things you do. Exercise. It doesn't matter how busy you are. It doesn't matter what else you have to do. First thing first is get some exercise and take care of your health. Get yourself ready so that way your body can work for you the rest of the day and do other things. So our health is our wealth, right? And so if we don't have our health, we won't have wealth. So that's why exercising and any physical activity is really important to me. I want my children to understand that and have this lifestyle as really a part of their life from a young age. Um, so I want to share how 4 ways that cooking can build strong relationships. First, it's cooking is an act of caring. It encourages communication. It boosts confidence, and it's also is sensory. So it's cooking as an act of caring. When you cook for someone, you promote the feeling of you belonging, and you feel like there's a sense of purpose. You feel really happy. That's really why I want to cook for my children, because I want them to feel like they belong here. And even when they I want them, even when they grow older, they out on their own. They they do their own thing. They're independent, but I want them to know that they always belong here, and I always care for them. I'll always cook a meal for them. Then that if something ever happened, they can always come home, because this is them. This is their place, and it has always been since they were little. And also, this is a picture. They on my birthday, they made breakfast in bed for me, and they brought it in and they fed me, and it made me really happy. It's really one of the best birthday presents ever. And usually they enjoy the food that I cook for them, but they have opportunity like this where they cook and care for other people, me, their mom, and you can see they love it, and I can see the sense of pride in them, and I feel like that really helped their heart and their little soul to grow, because they are starting to experience those emotions, and cooking is really an easy way, because how can you sit down and explain complicated feelings to children? It's very hard, you know um, but these little daily things that we do, we can start and incorporate them, or and have them involved in it when they start to feel and sense it for themselves, because they're at this age, they're old enough to sense and understand that. So that's how you grow them emotionally. So cooking encourages communication. You have meaningful conversation, like I talked earlier. When we sit down and we cook, we eat together, we really don't talk about anything else but the food. We're really that much into our food. We're really at the moment. We really, and we talk about the food. And I feel like this is the way to help encourage your children to be involved. Because sometimes as us adults talk together, it's like we have nothing to say to the children. Or when we talk to the children, we get tired because this is like kids topic, and we're like, okay, we're bored, we want to talk about other things. So what is a common topic that both children and adult can talk together at the dinner table that would last us and that we would have fun? Is the food, right? The food. So yeah, at every dinner table, we talk about the food, how much we like something. My kids starting to learn how to critique food, the quality of food. So they're very pro at this, so you can't just feed them, and they would know if it's good quality or not. They know how to enjoy food, because I think if you know how to enjoy food, that also bring you a sense of happiness that I think is also good for your soul. You don't just eat something that's food just to fill you up, right? So they learn to understand, also at these dinner table, we're able to talk about like different ethnicity, for example, because I don't know how to teach my children different ethnicity or people's color. I don't know how to talk about that, and I don't know if I really want to. For me, I use food like we cook different ethnic food. I cook Indian food, we cook Thai, we cook Moroccan food. We've done all that, and that was, every meal is a cooking opportunity for me to teach them about different cultures, and different ethnicity, and we talk about them, about history and things like that. But I think they also learn to appreciate different cultures, so when they grow up, of course, they'll have their own opinion about different cultures, different ethnic. You can't stop that. But at the very least, I can teach them that, hey, at least from this culture, this is wonderful food and this wonderful thing about this culture. So I want them to grow out in the world, to at least start having a positive attitude or a positive heart, an open heart about different cultures, because not every culture is perfect, but at least there's something good about this culture they can find. And the first thing that they knew about was food, right? So that's what I want my children to be, and have that open minded, knowing that every culture has something positive about them, and you just need to go and look for it, and embrace it and be open to that. And yeah, cooking is a great way to teach them at a young age. You know, you can't sit down. It's hard for me. Maybe someone can do it, but I can't teach them. It's hard to have them really understand and appreciate other cultures. You know, talking really, um, difficult stuff to understand. You know, so food is a great way to start. Cooking really boosts confidence. This is a picture of Olivia just recently, back in April. She turned 9, and for her birthday, she wanted to have a sleepover birthday, and she wanted to cook for her friends. And she was a little chef. She prepared everything here. She made flat rice noodle, beef, the stir fried with beef and veggies, with soy sauce. And you can see that she was, she's in the picture, presenting herself, learning to present already in front of a group of friends and demonstrate. And in order for her to have this happen, she had to do a lot of planning and getting ready. So it made me so happy to see that she actually put all of this together, because it shows her maturity, that she's come a bit of a way, and of maturity, that made me so happy as a mom, because she's mature enough to plan and get herself prepared and have confidence to stand up and present in front of people, and also during this process, she learned to collaborate. And to me, collaboration is really one of the biggest things to our success, right? Because a lot of times the biggest issue is we don't get along with people, or we don't know how, or some of people don't want to. So I think collaboration is really one of the key trait to have for success. Is we have to learn how to cooperate. So here she needs to learn how to collaborate, because she let her friends jump in and cook with her, and be patient and show them and guide them. And she did it so well and made me so happy. I feel like, cooking did a lot for me. It's not just feeding my family well, but really helped me to raise my children and grow them emotionally. So it makes me so happy. And also for me, it's such a great tool to teach your children. Sometimes you can have all the recipes together perfectly lined up, and all your portions are perfect. But then when you go and you cook your recipe, your dish, it didn't turn out well. It failed. And that sounds like life, doesn't it? When you thought everything is perfect, but it didn't turn out the way that you had planned for it, even though you were so prepared. And so, Olivia have had that many failures. And I taught her to, it's okay. Sometimes it's perfect, but you know what? It will not turn it. There is a chance that it may not turn out exactly as you want it to be. You need to be prepared for that. And if that does happen, you just go back, you remeasure your ingredients, and you go back until it's perfect, right? And every time you redo it, you will learn something new and be better the next time. So I was able to teach her that food cooking, and it makes me very, very happy. So cooking is sensory. You can see, I just use these pictures to show you, food has colors, right? Different colors, textures. And, we use a sensory to do that. And, when back earlier, what I was saying, when you sit and you eat, you oh wow, the lettuce is so pretty, oh my gosh, it's so green, it looks so fresh, that's how it should look when it's fresh. Or wow, the tomato is so nice, that red color, that's how it should be. And you talk about, oh, that tastes good because it's fresh. All those things going on in your conversation, it helps you with being mindful. I'm sure you guys have heard about mindfulness nowadays, how it's so important for our health, right? We need to be mindful. That means you just need to be in the moment, be present with what we're doing. And that's what something you can practice with cooking as well. You being mindful of what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, so the food become a lot tastier, a lot more enjoyable, and you don't just get a great meal, but you also mentally happy, and that is also a dose of medicine for you up here as well. So here I have a picture of my husband and my son. So I have 2 girls and a boy. The 2 boys in my family don't cook, and I don't think they really like to cook. But that doesn't mean that you can't participate, because cooking is not a solo endeavor. I myself can't do that, because especially when they want to eat three fresh meals a day, and everything they want home cooked, right? So my husband loves to be the food tester. He likes to taste my food, and he always say it just tastes okay. It just tastes okay, and he says that about 10 times, and then after that everything's gone. It's like it tastes okay. So that's how he is. But I know that's a compliment. It makes me happy. And then my son, who doesn't really like to be involved in cooking, I have a chore for him. He actually likes to sweep the floor, put away the pots and pans, and we all work together. We function as a unit, and we should be that way most of the time, right? This is not us all the time, 100% of the time. No, because that's not real. But we have intentions, right? We should always set intentions, and our intention is to be like this every day. And they do practices every day. They feel this is how we promote for me teamwork and family bonding. Because it's not just me, it's not just mom that made great meal and made this home a great environment. It's all of you. I want to show them it's all of them. They are important as well. I cooked it, I made all these dishes. It's hard, right? So they help me. Clean up is hard, so they help with the cleaning up and things like that. So we all work together. How do I do it? We use healthy ingredients. We live very close to our garden. We live very close to a garden. I have a book that I really, really love from Dr. Antonio Jimenez. He said 7 things you need to know. I think it's 7 things to help you from not being so fearful of cancer is to live close to your garden. And after I read that book, I said, wow, I'm doing something right. So we have a garden, and we have fresh eggs. The kids, every year, as you know, when you do a garden, it's not easy work. You don't just throw the seed in there and you just have food to eat. They learn how to prepare the garden, get the soil and know how to harvest. So this is what they do. They collect eggs, they prepare the soil, and they also collect the vegetables for me. And this is from our harvest from last year with all our the things that we grew last year. So once in a while, my son decided to bring in a surprise ingredient because they think I can cook everything. They brought in a live frog from our yard, and it was riveting at me. And I said, okay, it needs to go back. The mom is waiting for him. I don't know how to deal with that. But I was like, they're not, I mean, he's so happy because they're not afraid. They're like, okay, there's something else we can eat. Like they are very open, and I like to do that. I like to give my children options. Having options is great. Having options to live healthier, because there are things that we're so trained to eat a certain food and we don't like certain things. It becomes very difficult as we get older if we want to live healthier, because we don't have options. So I want to share with you some of the ingredients that I love that I use a lot is fresh coconut. Besides we all know that the juice is super nutritious. I use that as a replacement of Gatorade whenever they have sports every day. They drink that instead of Gatorade or any other kind of drink. But also it's such a great tool, ingredients to cook with, because Asian food, for me, in my opinion, it appeared to be healthy because we don't have cheese, we don't have a lot of fatty food, it's a lot of greens, but at the same time, I find it's unhealthy. I would have to disagree because we have a lot of starch and a lot of sugar in our food. One of the, like for example, as you can see in this picture, this braised meat with eggs, traditionally that's cooked with sugar and to get that brown caramel color. But I find that if you use fresh coconut water to replace that, you get the same flavor, the same sweetness that you need. But add on to that is you're not changing, you're actually making your dish better, because the nice coconut water gives your meat a wonderful aroma. You can't replace that. And the coconut also has the property to tenderize your meat as well. So you can see this dish where it's traditionally made with a lot of sugar because it's braising meat. This dish did not have any added sugar in it. The only sugar source was from the fresh coconut water. We're braising the meat and the eggs, the fresh eggs with it, and that's it. And the kids learn to enjoy it, and they can pick up when this is cooked a different way. You can see they don't eat it as much. So I love this. I use this coconut water for a lot of things as well, like boiling my shrimp. It adds so much flavor to your food, but keeping your food healthy and simple at the same time. Because healthy doesn't have to be boring, right? It doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be tasteless. Actually, be very tasty, a lot tastier, and a lot healthier as well. Another secret ingredient of mine is monk fruit. I love monk fruit because it's different from other sweetener. You know, it's besides it's being zero calories, it actually has a whole lot of benefit for you more than anything else, you know. It has a lot of antioxidants. So it doesn't just, you know, give you the chance to eat something sweet without feeling the guilt of having sugar in your body. It actually add a lot of benefits into your body, having a lot of antioxidant, a lot of anti-cancer. I mean, I can go on and on with a list of things, you know, of its benefits. So if you've never had this before, the taste might be a little herbal to you, maybe a little different, but practice, right? Practice. When we know something is good for us, we need to be practicing it, be open to it. That's how I teach the kids, because they, of course, they're not easy. They always refuse things, just like all kids do. But you have to, when you talk about it with them, when you have your children involved with the cooking with you, that's how you make them feel like they're a part of it. They're in charge. They have some power. They're more than willing to try their own, because they're not going to reject their own food that they made or something that they were part of, something that they put their sweat and tears into. So that's one of my secrets to might get my children to eat everything, is they do eat everything. They eat onions, herbs, they eat everything, and they're open to this herbal taste of the real monk fruit. Because if you buy monk fruit powder, it's not the same. You won't really get to taste the real monk fruit. And a lot of people may not like it, but I love it and they love it. So I use it a lot in the cooking. I use the package form here for cooking, but when I make especially drinks, summer drinks for them, I use the monk fruit, the dry monk fruit, as my sweetener for them. And that's the tea with the pandan leaf right here, and they love it. They love it. That's their summer drink. No juice, no sugary drinks. That's their sugary drinks. Another one of my favorite is this butterfly pea flower here. You can see, you can get, because it gives you that nice, beautiful color, right? Children, we all do, actually, not just children. We love colors. Color, you know, it's attract us, right? It's promote us to willing to try something because it looks pretty to our eyes. So this is one of my other tricks to get my children to eat, is make it colorful, but using natural, healthy coloring, which is the butterfly pea. It has this beautiful color you can dye your food with, or you can make tea to drink out of it as well. And another one of my favorites is this magenta leaf here. You can dye your rice, you know, anything that you want. Just have this beautiful magenta color from just a simple plant. And another color that I use a lot, I think most of you may know about, is turmeric. See, I dye my rice and my chicken have this more yellow color. And turmeric is really one of my favorite. We grow them in our house and we use them in everything, just flavor our food, to color our food. And also, you know, I want to share with you the one of this that we love to make is wonton. And I had the kids make the dumpling because it teach them patience. They teach them patience to sit there and be patient and have some dexterity working on their hand skills, right? So I guess because I'm so into cooking that I see cooking as a tool, and every time it's an opportunity for me to teach them something. Here I have, I'm sure most of you can guess what this is pho, the very, very famous Vietnamese beef noodle soup. And I cooked this for 36 hours to get all the minerals, all the collagen out of it, because we all know about the healing power of bone broth, right? So I cooked pho for 36 hours to get all the goodness out of it. And this pho that I made is everything from scratch, from the meatball to the meat, everything is 100% grass fed, no MSG, super clear, just simply salt and a little bit of rock sugar and like organic cane sugar sometimes, and that's it, you know. And my kids love my pho. So this dish recently that I made for them, I started to introduce, because my goal every day as a mom is not just to how do I plan the future, do this and all these things, from how do I feed their body, how do I get them healthy, to stay healthy. And my goal is to teach them importance and the urgency of being healthy, eating healthy, and learn and be open to different ingredients and start searching out there. So that way, like I said earlier, you need to have options. And I want them to be very knowledgeable about the food source out there from different cultures, because I don't know about you, but I suffer a lot from trying to diet, trying to find a healthy diet, and I don't like certain food, I don't like certain things. But when it becomes difficult, when your options are limited. But when you have a lot of options, you start to think of a lot of different things, you know. So I started to search a lot of things. Here I made a collagen dessert. I call it the beauty collagen dessert bowl for them. It's made from awesome ingredients. This dish is completely vegan. It's mainly made of, you can see here, these little tree resin, right? That's collected from trees. This one, the snow swallow, I think it's the tragacanth gum. It's mainly harvested from India, and you cook it with all this snow lotus seed. It's like a seed in a pot, and it's chia seed. There's dry longan, there's jujube, there's goji berry, and this is a dry monk fruit. And this is the resin, the peach gum. This is the resin that's collected from the peach tree. And I cook them together into a nice dessert bowl. It's just really like you're drinking a jello-y drink. And there's no sugar because it's from monk fruit. And the kids enjoy this every single day. And we know how collagen is so important for us, for our joints and for our hair, for really our health. And most of us really need to supplement ourselves with collagen because we need that. And every day when I cook for my children, I don't just think about what do I cook, but I think about, well, what helped me is what do I cook next for them, is what other ways we can improve our health upon. And I start to research all these ingredients and put together something for them and feed my children, make it fun, make it acceptable, palatable to them every day, and make them accept it. And I love it that this dish allowed me to teach them about texture, because I know a lot of my friends are very afraid of textures. We're all very afraid of textures. And I made it a goal to teach them to be open to that. Love different textures, love different things, appreciate different things, just like loving different cultures, loving different people, different ethnicity, because we're all different in our own way, and every of us have something good about each and every one of us, and they need to be open to that. Try it out first before you say you don't like it. Get to know someone first before you say you don't like them. Get to know a culture first before you don't say you don't like them. There's something good in there waiting for you. So yeah, I love, this is why you see I'm so passionate, right, with cooking and feeding people. It's not just cooking for someone. There's so much lessons go into it. Also, not just cooking is not just for my family. It's also to be in a relationship with you can see here with the people outside of our family that I'm really passionate about. To the left is a group of my colleagues as the mommy dentists. This is how we get us together. These are the strangers to me before. I didn't know them, but cooking get us together, and we gather together. We talk about dentistry, of course. We help each other how we can grow better in business and a profession, but also it's a way for me to build relationship with them through cooking and invite them to my house. Same thing here is I somehow became a designated chef for our scout. We camp at least 4 times a year. I cook minimally for 55 people, but most of the time I cook for 100 people and above. I joined the scout because I wanted for my children. I knew it's good for them, but just like anything else, when I first went in, that people that have been there, I need to learn how to blend in. We need to learn how to blend in. And of course, it's very awkward at first because you're the newcomer. How do you break into these people that already know each other, have a bond together, and you have to find ways to make yourself useful. And luckily, I have cooking as a tool to really help me break the mold, to be able to blend in and get to know everyone. And it's really important that I show my children that when you go to an environment, to a new group of people, one of the ways to really get yourself broken in and get people to welcome you and love you is contribute, participate. You have to contribute, make yourself useful, right? And it's nice to have at least some tools in your hand to contribute to people, make yourself useful. Life would be so much easier, right? And you learn how to collaborate. Life would be so much easier, and you can be thrown into any environment and you know how to adapt and make friends and form a relationship already, instead of just being awkward all the time and don't know how to break in, even though you are a really awesome person. So I want to provide my children these tools. And I am so happy that I have a group of these dentist friends that I can share that with them, because they might not have a family. They don't have kids, a lot of kids like I do to feed, but I'm sure they have relationships in their life, like their friends or girlfriends, their family, their mom, their dad, their cousin, or somebody they can bond with by just simply cooking or sharing a meal with them. You don't have to collaborate like I do, but something simple where you put a lot of thoughts and soul into it and you present to someone, they can see the love from you, and really how to enjoy a meal together when you have mealtime together. Besides cooking, charity is very important to me. It's actually super important to me. I make it, how we plan our budget every year, all of us do, right? We need to have save a certain amount for certain things. For me, part of my saving is we have to save a certain amount for charity as well. Every year, it's a must. So charity is one of our important spending that we have to budget for. And after that, we spend the extra on whatever else we want to spend on. So it's important that my daughter, my children learn this because they didn't grow up in Vietnam in a hard environment like I did, where they could appreciate things. Because that's one of my fear is, how do I put this in my children, how lucky they are, how fortunate they are, and how they need to look beyond that to feel for other people, that not everyone else around the world are fortunate as they are. So this picture, the left picture is we were in Vietnam and we visited my grandmother, and we're able to buy a ton of rice and a lot of other kitchen staples like soy sauce and ramen noodles and such to portion out and give it to the elderly in our village. And the picture here of my daughter Olivia, she actually made this completely vegan 5-layer jelly cake, agar jelly cake. And you can see the different colors are all natural. The top is the passion fruit layer with mango. The next one is coconut cream. The clear layer in the middle with all the berries is coconut water, and the layers repeat. And at first, it's just made. I just posted a picture on Facebook, and everyone really loved it, to where they started ordering from her. And she was able, with my help, of course, and to make, I think, I can't remember, like 12 or 13 cakes, where we're able to make about $400. And then I matched her. I added an extra $400 and a total of $800. At that time, there was a lot of like cereal flooding in Vietnam. So with the money that she raised and with my matching, she was able to help buy 2 water filter systems to ship back to the affected areas in Vietnam. Because when you have flooding, what's really one of the most important things is, beside food, is really having clean water is super, super important. And it made her feel really, really, really good. That she did something for someone in a very big way, and I think it taught her, gratefulness. Like, she felt grateful that, wow, I didn't have to deal with this situation. I didn't have to deal with this water issue because my water is clean all the time. My parents have a lot of water filters in their house. Really, this is the problem. So she knew that this is the problem. It's out there, and how lucky she is. So it's such a wonderful lesson and opportunity for me to teach her and have her feel that. I need her. I can do all the lecturing I want, but I need her to feel it in her heart, and she needs to feel it in here for her to really feel the meaning of it and for it to stick. And these are really wonderful ways. It's not just, you have money, you can always donate, but it's always nicer if you can actually put in the work as well. So I just want to end with to share a video of the kids cooking. I always have them involved and actually have them take charge. And they have to learn how to get along. They fight all the time, but they have to learn how to get along. They have to learn to collaborate. And I want them to learn to care for each other. So this is the video, a fun, cute little fun video I want to share with you. I hope you like it. So yeah, in this video, they were making the panna cotta dessert with coconut water, no sugar added or anything else. So yeah, they had fun with it. So because of this passion, that I want to share, my goal and my tool with people to live a happier and healthier life and eating healthier, I created a Facebook group page called the Ultimate Relationship Chef, where I share recipes with people and things that I find, and hopefully I can encourage people, and we all can live a happier and healthier life together. So if you're interested, you can join me on my Facebook group page. There we go, and on Instagram as well. And there's my email if you'd like to reach out to me. All right, thank you for listening. And I'll take any questions that you may have.
So Dr. Ho, that was awesome. Just like usual, my usual complaints, which is every time you show your food, I'm hungry. It's a good thing that where I'm at, it's actually around lunchtime, so now I can go and find some food
That's my goal, to get everyone hungry,
to
right?
right to go and get some food to eat. And it's really refreshing to see somebody taking a regular chore, right? Chore, like I said, because some people see it like that. I've never seen it like that because for me, I use it very much like you, where it's an activity where I make everybody become part of, from the husband to the kids. Make the kids take different parts in the cooking process, and sometimes now they just make them cook by themselves, and that's how we spend the time. Obviously, sitting at the dinner table, or if it's during the weekend, sitting at the lunch table and spend as much time as one can. And I think it's about being intentional, like you said. It's just like when we go to our office and we do a procedure, right? We make sure that the whole team is involved. Everybody is doing their part so the procedure would go well. This is a procedure in your personal life to build that relationship and to give that gift of time to your spouse or your kids or your parents. And a lot of time with Asian families and a lot of the doctors listening to these, listening and watching these podcasts, they're international. The people over in India, the people over in Albania, the people over in South America. So we all have that extended family kind of way of life, and this is a great way to get everybody involved. What would you say if somebody think, yeah, it sounds pretty good. She does all this and she lives, what is it, 5 minutes from from her house, but I don't have that luxury because maybe I'm 30 minutes away or whatever. What would you say? What would be the first step? I mean, I have some ideas, but I want to hear it from you. So if somebody say, no, I'm 30 minutes from my house where I'm working. I When I get home, I'm already tired on the weekend. I'm trying to do laundry or whatever, whatever chores that a lot of people do. What would you say? What would you recommend people to do as a first step to be able to incorporate some of this in their life?
Yeah, it's really delegate, and then you elevate them. I think it's how I am no business expert, right? But I do have a successful practice, and I feel like for me, how I run my practice is really how we are at home, how I run my family with my children. You have to delegate, we have to hustle, right? Well, I'm sorry, we have to have a huddle to where we're like, okay, team, this is what we're gonna do. If this is what we want, if you guys want to eat healthy and eat good, because health is important, I need you guys, the boys who don't like to cook, we need to prep, you need to prep for me, you know. And I think by being prepared, right, we can achieve the things that we want to achieve, just like at work. And it needs to be a team effort, and we need to promote that team effort. I think also, I know not everyone work, like you said, I totally agree with you, because not everyone work 10 minutes away, and my husband's like 3 minutes away. But we didn't have that before. We didn't have that before. So we need not just at home, like I want this at home. It's our life is everything is all interconnected. Everything is interconnected. We just have to look at the big picture of the end. What do I want? And we need to make sacrifices. So for me, that's worth it to us. For me, this is the life that I want. I want to have time with my mom, interact with her a lot, not just hi mom in the morning, bye mom, and go home, hi mom, and go to sleep. I didn't want that, even though she lived with me. I want her to have that. She's my best friend, and I am her best friend. And before, I said I worked 5 days a week, and I didn't have time. So I learned how to get my business better, of course, with your help, Dr. Latran, as well, to where I'm more profitable. I'm working 3 days. The other 2 days are just really admin days where you don't really work those 2 days. They call admin days. Of course, as an emergency, I come in. So therefore, now I create more free time to do these things, to invest in the meaningful life that I want. So yes, we don't, it's really hard just to, if you have the time, but to say, oh, I'm going to do this at home, have the perfect at home. But a lot of us have business careers. That's very difficult to do that. But if we want this, then we need to start being intentional. make a plan and make a change and make it happen. And we can make this happen. But yeah, preparation is key.
Yeah, awesome. Because the one thing that I was gonna suggest is put it in your schedule.
Yeah,
Maybe you can't cook every day. um, you don't have the luxury of time, or because you're too far, etc. You don't put it in your schedule. Maybe you're gonna go home one day a little bit earlier, and that's the one day that you're gonna cook together. Or maybe
right.
that's gonna be part of your weekend routine, right? Cook one thing on the weekend with the family. Like for me, it's been forever, ever since dental school, that Sunday morning is my cooking day, right? Sunday morning is
Yeah,
when I prep food for the week, and I make different portions, and then I don't have to worry about cooking during the week. I can still enjoy, healthy food or whatever it is that I want to eat. And so the family knows Sundays when mom's cooking, everybody's getting involved, right? If we're making egg rolls, I don't care if the egg rolls look ugly. You're wrapping it, right? Like all the kid, we have all these different sizes because again, it's about spending the time. And now my kids are, we know, mom, it's the experience that count, right? And they say it in that way sarcastically, but that's really what it is. Because as your family grow, and maybe people are moving apart, your kids move out of the house, or maybe your parents getting older, they're going to remember that those memories, those experiences that collectively we create together. And I think,
right.
yeah, and I think it's a great part because I don't really care what people say about being a professional, a dentist, a doctor, a pharmacist. You're only supposed to be that 8 hours a day, maybe. Or if you're going to work
Absolutely.
at 12 hours a day, then you're only supposed to be that 12 hours a day. And you have several other hours to be something else, and choose to be the leader in your family, and create those great relationships. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Yeah,
once
I
again,
think
well, yeah, go ahead.
no, good. No, I just said it's really, we can do a lot. We can make a lot of things we want our life happen. We just need to be very clear. We need to set boundaries and we need to be firm with what we want to do. And I think we can achieve that. And you asked me, there are a lot of dishes that I share on my Facebook group page where you can prepare in advance and have it neatly in your freezer and you come home, it's done. But I think, when your children are old enough, they're 9, they can hold like they can cut things, they can prepare things for you. They need to be responsible for their family. They need to know that they are responsible for this family, not just mom and dad. And I think when you teach your children, they grow up to where a family is everyone has to contribute and we need to love and care, responsible for family. They will know how to raise a family when they grow up. And I think as a parent, that's what I would want for my children, not to them to come back and take care of me. I want them to see them when they have their own family. They know how to grow their family, take care of their family, raise their family, and have a happy family. As a mom, that would makes me very happy and it makes me feel very successful. And that's what I want them to know and learn at a young age.
Oh no, I do want them to come back and take care of me. That's just me.
I think I don't want them to bother. I said, bye bye.
Well, it's been very refreshing, learning from a professional like you. That the other aspect of being a professional, which is a professional chef, and I know that you're going to be planning some retreats, and you're going to invite people to come and cook with you, and bond with you, and learn how to have a set healthy relationship. Can you tell us again the email address, where they can reach out to you and ask you those details?
Yes, it's my email as it's hochuvi, so it's HOCHUVI at hotmail.com. And yes, my kitchen will be done in 2 weeks. So we're looking at just having some cooking courses as well, virtual or live, or I'm thinking to even do a cooking course for men where they can maybe on a special occasion cook a dish for their wife or their family. I'm sure the guys would love that too.
Oh yeah, I think anybody who go to college and have moved out from home, they would know how to cook a thing or two, because they would have to do that while they're living away from home and a couple of years, in college. So thank you so much, Dr. Ho, for sharing all of that. And I wish everybody, well, I hope everybody took a lot of takeaways, right? Golden nuggets. You can go back and watch a video, and see all those food, and see all those insights, how you can create colors in your food. 'Cause that's what makes it fun. And I'm sure if you have younger children, they would love to see those kind of things, because it makes them stand out. It gives them the chance to be creative. So thanks again for sharing, taking your time. I know you're super busy with your three kids and your husband, by the way. Send him a global happy birthday. I know his birthday was yesterday. Send him a global happy birthday, and say hi to your parents. And everybody, please enjoy the rest of your weekend. We hope to see you here tomorrow for another series of Partners. Thank you, Dr. Ho.
Thank you, Dr. Tran, and thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.